retired neighbors started leaving freshly painted birdhouses at the edge of the woods. I only found out why when I noticed the tiny markings on his hand. For the last few months, my neighbor, Mr. Henderson, had become the talk of our quiet suburban street. He had always been a master carpenter, but lately, his workshop was buzzing at all hours of the night. Every Tuesday morning, like clockwork, he would walk to the edge of the local nature preserve and leave a perfectly crafted, brightly colored birdhouse on an old stump. I started to worry that he was struggling with the loneliness of being a widower and was pouring all his energy into a hobby that no one was around to appreciate. He stopped coming over for our weekend coffee and began wearing heavy gloves even when it was warm outside. I feared he was hiding a tremor or an injury that he was too proud to admit, and the silence coming from his garage felt like a barrier he had built around himself. I tried to keep an eye on him, but he became incredibly elusive. I noticed he started spending his afternoons at the local elementary school, sitting on a bench near the playground, but never actually talking to anyone. I began to fear that he was losing his sense of purpose, or that he was searching for a connection he didn't know how to make anymore. The more I reached out with home-cooked meals or offers to help with his yard, the more he retreated into his wood shavings and paint cans. I felt like I was watching a friend fade into the background of the neighborhood, and I was terrified that his secret was a sign that he was preparing to give up on his beautiful craft entirely. Yesterday, the wind caught Mr. Henderson's garage door before he could close it, and I saw him sitting at his workbench, his head bowed. As he reached up to wipe his brow, he finally took off his gloves, and my heart skipped a beat. His palms weren't injured. They were covered in tiny, meticulously drawn symbols and braille characters, etched in vibrant, tactile paint. I felt a wave of confusion as I realized those weren't just decorative marks. I decided to walk down to the nature preserve myself to look at the birdhouses he had left behind. I stood in the quiet woods, and the truth finally hit me with a wave of warmth. Mr. Henderson wasn't just making birdhouses. He was creating a sensory trail for a group of visually impaired students at the local school. Each birdhouse was a different shape and texture, representing a different tree or flower in the forest, and the markings on his hands were from him practicing the braille descriptions he was carving into the wood. He wanted the children to be able to see the beauty of the woods through touch, and he was hiding it because he wanted the discovery to feel like a gift from nature itself. I realized that day that my neighbor wasn't losing his way. He was quietly spending his time, making sure that the world remained a place of wonder for those who had to find it with their hearts instead of their eyes.